Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about?
Yo.
Good evening. How are you?
Back in the kitchen, working on Greater. How are you?
I'm doing good. I shall not complain.
This crazy Tallahassee weather.
I know, hot, cold.
I don't know what
It's what it do. It is what it do.
True.
So this is Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook.
That's what they do. That is what they do. Super excited to be in the kitchen again tonight. Thank you, Fransley Moise, for hanging out.
Yes, ma'am.
Dude, we've been rocking this thing for a minute.
Yeah. Time is moving and it's not stopping for nobody.
February. I feel like I just woke up and it was New Year's.
Oh no, we already in February.
We already in February already.
The groundhog said we got another few more days of winter.
Oh, the groundhog saw a shadow?
Yeah. Got a few more days.
I mean, we don't even know what winter
right
looks like. It's the MOG.
What's going on, good people?
Oh, dang.
How are you?
God.
Listen, I learned, Lisa, I'm still pimping. I'm just not trafficking.
I can't.
I just ain't
and so the difference is?
Listen, I'm still impacting minds. I just don't traffic people. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Listen, we learned now. I'm just telling you what I learned now. We don't traffic now.
I actually just texted her the other day, and so I was like, you had such an impact on the show. We still talk about it.
See?
Still talk about it. France, that was a good one. She had to come back when you here.
Oh yeah, my brother, you have some questions for her.
I'm sure.
You will have some very good preguntas.
Yes, definitely. Well, this is Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook.
And that is what they do. I'm so excited to be hanging out in the kitchen with you guys. So, speaking of questions, I have a question.
All right.
And both of you have to answer. Are you ready?
Lord.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, let's see.
All right. So, the question is, who do you love?
Who do you love?
Jesus.
Are you sure? Well, who do I love? I mean, of course, you know, like he said, as far as my faith, I mean, I love the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, as far as like family,
Mm-hmm.
I love my family. I love friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can go down the list, but I'm the type of person, if you're my friend, you're my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, I think the thing is too, our English language is limited when it based on what love is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I love my wife different than I love my kids.
Sure.
But I love my kids. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So when you ask that question, you have to be more specific when you say who do you love, because in what way?
I was just thinking about agape love.
Don't really go that deep just yet. So, friends, who do you love?
You know what? I love love. You can't be
That ass ain't gonna work, brother.
Right.
Listen, she
I
want
love-
to know.
Love is not a who. Love is an action. So
Love
who
is
do
an
you
action.
love?
So I agree with Dr. Scott. That's why I started off with Jesus, right? I love that's the faith part, but I love my family. But you know what? Even before all of that, I love myself. Because if I can't love myself, then I can't love anybody else, right? So it starts with you first. It starts with me. So I gotta
You know
say,
what though? Can I be honest?
Uh-huh.
I love me. Sometimes I don't like me.
but
We ain't
that's the
talking about
difference.
like right now.
Not like it's
We ain't
love.
talking about like.
Right.
But
Right.
the point I was trying to get to was when if someone was to ask us that question, we have a whole list,
Right.
but a lot of times we're not on the list.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you're right. But for me, I mean, yeah, I love myself, but to me, love is selfless. So when I think of who do I love, I think of who I'm going to express my love to. You know what I mean? That's more my thought process, more
Sure.
so than yeah. I mean, because if you ask me, do I love myself? The answer to that question is most definitely yeah. But when I think of love, I'm thinking of who would I sacrifice for? That means I put myself on the line. You know what I mean? That's because when I think of that, I'm thinking, who am I willing to? I asked this question before, not on the show, but just asked in church one time. You know, are you when it's in dealing with relationships, are you a type of person that a man will fight for or fight over? And we talk about because men are territorial and they'll fight over territory that they don't even care about, but they fight for the person that they love or they really want to be with. And what I mean by that is when you're willing to fight for someone, that means you'll even change yourself. Because I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get you. And this going back to love. My thought process is I love me, but who am I willing to sacrifice me for?
So in that same vein, so are you not willing to sacrifice yourself for yourself?
I was just thinking.
Are you not willing to fight for yourself? Are you not willing to express love to yourself?
Well, again, when you say if I'm not willing to sacrifice for myself, in what way? What way are you saying?
In the same way you would for your wife, or in the same way you would for, and I'm not saying it's hard, it's kind of hard to, I guess, define it in a way. And what happens is a lot of times we put ourselves on the back burner.
And that's true. But you know
that
what,
is not always a good thing.
I mean, yeah, and this is me. Me and my wife, we talk about this all the time. I am by nature, most people don't know this. By nature, I'm introverted. I've learned how to interact and be outgoing, be assertive, but for me, that drains me. So I have to have moments and times where I'm just by myself. And I tell my wife all the time, you know, I love you, but I just need some time. She like, you know, because when I first started explaining, she's like, well, I'm not bothering you. And I'm like, you don't understand. You're not bothering me, but just your presence. I'm not able to get that full, you know what I mean? So for me, that's taking time for me so I can regenerate, rejuvenate, whatever. But me, I'm a giver by nature, in the sense of I'm always thinking of how can I be an impact and be helpful to someone else. So for me to think about me, it actually, if I get to a place where I can't do things for people on a regular basis, to me, that's more frustrating to me than just thinking about myself.
Hmm. So for you, or can we find the line between self-care and selfishness?
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Because like for me, my self-care is having those moments alone.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's you kind of bought like a catch-22 because that's what you want, right? In terms of loving yourself. Sometimes I'm very similar, Doc, in that way, right? Because I give, I pour into people a lot. It's my job, it's what I do, it's just my character. Okay, so I need that chance to recharge too. And sometimes that means eliminating everybody and it's just me. It's just me and the Lord. And that's not being I think it's being selfish because it's helping me to be again helpful to everybody else. And
Yeah.
sometimes you got to pour into yourself.
Yeah.
Going back to what I said, I gotta love me first. Because I can't love you if I don't love me. So
Yeah.
I think it's hard sometimes to say, no, I'm doing it for me, because you're always doing it for somebody else.
But I don't think, see, to me, I don't think that's selfish.
I
Mm.
agree. I agree.
I don't think that's selfish because in order for me to do more, I have to pull back and recharge.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so I just you need those moments of times. For me, it's being able to sit at the house by myself, don't have to go anywhere, or be on the road traveling, but I'm in the car by myself and I'm just traveling. I have those moments where I can just have the conversation with the Lord. I can talk, you know what I mean? And that's my place of, okay, whew, you know what I mean? I was, it's funny, me and my wife, me and Leslie, we were just talking about this, and I was talking to her about how that's one of the things I missed about being at the university was I would travel and recruit, and I would drive my own vehicle, and I would get in the car and I would drive. Well, those moments of driving and being in the car by myself were moments where I could actually recharge. So when I got back to campus and when I got back home, I had moments where I've been pulled away. It is just me, and I'm recharged, and now I'm able to go. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I don't think that's being selfish. I think that's just what's necessary, and you understanding the type of person you are, that I can't keep going without being drained. Speaking of faith, even Jesus himself had times where he did what? He pulled
Pulled
away.
away.
And
Sure.
here's the biggest thing: when times got crazy, was the times that he was resting. The times when things are just out of control, he's sleeping in the boat. Like, this is chaotic right now. Everybody's losing their minds, and what, he's sleeping. So I do agree with that. I think again, you got to pour into you. Here we are on the eve of Valentine's Day.
Sure.
And everybody want to give, and of course, you want to share your love for people, but it's important that we take care of ourselves too. We set aside that time for us, to give me that me time.
I think so too. And really what kind of made me of course it's February, this the love month. I think this the hearts awareness month too, or something like that. And I was just thinking, and France brought it up, the scripture about love your neighbor as yourself. And so if you don't love you, how do you know to love your neighbor? You know, or how do you know to love other people if
Well,
you don't love yourself? And when I say that, how do you show yourself love? How do you express love to yourself? Even past the I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I could have done that better. I think sometimes we're really hard on ourselves, and I think at other times we are so trying to um take care of other people that we lose parts of who we are, or our energy is depleted, and then we're just kind of operating on fumes and in not wanting to be selfish, we still won't take the time because somebody needs us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember Miss Jones working in the College of Pharmacy, and for the first 5-10 years, maybe so, I wouldn't take any days off, and I could
5
be
years, you wouldn't
5,
take
maybe
no days
10.
off.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would not take any days off. Um, and I could be feeling really bad. And one day she told me, she says, if that's how you love you, I don't want you to love me. And that thing hit me. I was like, whoa. And then I realized, because I do business education, I talk to people, I talk to entrepreneurs all the time. And I tell entrepreneurs all the time, the worst person to work for is yourself. Because you'll give everybody else a sick day, but you won't give yourself one. And that thing hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, whoa. So from that point on, I started taking sick leave. You know, taking personal days, whatever I have to do, put my leave time in, and hey, you know, get my day. But at first, you know, it was more or less like, you know, in the mind of just being dedicated. You know what I mean? Like you say, you know, if I'm not there, who's going to do it?
Correct.
If not me, then who?
But the world will keep on moving.
Yeah,
it will.
I just told somebody today, look, they'll say, oh, he was a good man, bury you and move on to the next. Find somebody else. Yeah.
But hey, sometime before they bury you.
Don't be sick too long.
What?
You're already out. We got somebody
before they bury you. And I think it's so interesting that we spend so much time just giving, pouring, and never really the reset, or the just taking the time to say, okay, you know what, this time right here, or this day right here is dedicated to me.
Yeah.
You know, there was an ad campaign that was out, and it stated, pay you first.
Yeah.
Before you pay all these other things, your bills, pay you first. Take your portion out first. Then go ahead and pay your light bill, all this other stuff, whatever else you need to pay, car, note, anything. But the first person to get the check should be you. And ironically, we do that to ourselves. We give everything else away, to the job, to the community, to the people. But then the person who needed the most, you're not even giving it to yourself.
Yeah, so, we take what's left.
Well, yeah. you know, I hear that, but you know what? I think part of our reason here is to be a gift to somebody else.
Sure.
And so I need moments where I recharge, but I can't spend most of my time trying to figure out how I'm gonna have time for me. I think about this when my boys were born, and I get emotional every time I think about the birth. I mean, I can remember being in there when their heads crowned. Man, I mean, just my favorite moments in life, the fact that they were born and just to see them now. Saying all that to say, I wouldn't change anything. To see them perform, play, whatever they were doing, that trumped, because for me, that was, you know what I mean? That was my day. That was, I would finish up work so I can go sit at their practice every day.
Yeah, but you know that was you giving back to you. So
that was
giving back to you.
It fed you. That fed you.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I was supporting them, but at the same time, because of my love for them and, you know, just being a father, being there with them, watching them actually fed me too. You know what I mean? So those were moments where I didn't feel like I needed to go home and be recharged, because being able to watch them, I was being recharged.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
We all get recharged in different ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got to find. I love what you were saying earlier. We're blessed. I say this all the time. We're blessed to be a blessing, right? And that means you blessing you. Because if you're not the blessing, you can't bless. So you may get it a certain way, in a different way. Your blessing comes in a different way. Your rejuvenation comes in a different way than somebody else, but it's still coming back to you so that you can in turn give it back to somebody else.
Yeah. And I think too, and you were saying this earlier about, like, I think when we give love, we give love the way we expect to receive it.
That's not how it works.
And again, if I speak one language,
Yep.
I really want you to speak that language back to me.
Don't bring up the languages. We already did that on the show.
No, I ain't talking. I'm not just talking about love languages, but I'm just saying. I'm just from the standpoint of, I really, if I speak Spanish, right, but I take the time to speak English so that you can feel more comfortable. You know, it would be nice if you learn Spanish so you can speak to me.
Right.
You know, and so a lot of times we give the way we expect to receive. That's why I tell people on the job, you know, when I'm talking and I'm counseling people on the job, you know, it's like, look at the people in charge, the way they work. That's what if they're consistent, they're working all the time. Listen, guess what? They're looking for someone who's like that.
Correct.
You know. So, but anyway.
But then until you like open up a line of communication as well. So you just said that if I speak Spanish, you speak Spanish to me. But what if I'm trying to learn English and I want you to speak English to me, but you speak Spanish to me?
But
so are you taking the time to find out how I want to be loved so that you get what I'm saying?
But
you hit it right. You hit it right.
But I just want to change one word you said.
Mm-hmm.
Find out.
Find out.
Well, that's 2 words, but still. Because I shouldn't have to find.
That is 2. Find and out. That's 2.
Yeah, that's 2 words. Yeah, but I should have to find out. That's communication. You should tell me.
Well, that's if I know you want to know.
Listen, if we're in relationship together, I mean, that's a friendship. If we're in any type of ship,
right,
then that's a conversation that's supposed to be had.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not a thing of, do I want to know? I'm going to let you know.
This is what I want.
So ain't no question.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But also as a friend or whatever ship we in, if I'm a little shy or timid, then maybe you should ask.
Listen,
I think it goes both ways. I think you can be proactive and I'm telling you what it is, and sometimes we are reactive. Where, hey, you know what? I want to make sure that I'm loving you the way you want to be loved. So let's have a conversation about it.
That sounds good in theory. That sounds really good in theory.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how we do it, though.
I mean, that's true. That is so true.
Yeah,
so we learn our ships through motion and trial and error and all of that. Very true.
Right, and so basically, I need to be attentive because you speak to me whether verbally or non-verbally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I need to not only listen to what you say with your mouth, but I need to look what you're saying with your body language.
Mm-hmm.
I need to look at, for example, my wife, one of her languages is service, right? So she would do a lot of things for me. You know what I mean? Now, and I would speak because I give, and so I'm looking for something to give, or X, Y, and Z. But every now and then, I need to do something in her language. You know what I mean? So like, but I tell all the time, I don't like being told what to do. So I need you, when you go out of town and when you come back, there'll be something that you want done, I'll do it. But I ain't gonna do it if I feel like you do it.
Well, I guess it's how she telling you how to do it.
No, he's saying it don't matter how she
It don't
tell you.
matter. She could say it in the nicest way. It's
It
not
doesn't
that.
matter.
It's,
He just don't like being told what to do.
yeah.
So
Wait, you know, God bless Leslie's soul. Yes, for them 20 some odd years and counting. Bless you, Leslie. Bless you. Because that right there is a mess. And you know she acts a service, but you don't want her to tell you what she needs you to do.
You know, one of the things that I pull from
I can't with you.
one of the things I pull from the counseling session is that we learn and we gain tools. And
Sure.
through those tools, we use those tools to get better. So you're right. You know, you said earlier, Doc, that's not what actually happens. Actually, it does happen. You have the right tools. So when we give this, like this conversation right now, hopefully millions and millions of people watch it, hear it, and then they get the tools to use it. Now, I wouldn't subscribe to the tool that Dr. Scott just used. But a lot of the things we stated are ways to communicate and not just be reactive, but how can we be proactive to ensure that we're giving what the person wants? And sometimes we just need to ask. It's simple. We just ask, hey, what would work for you? Which language do you want me to speak?
Right. But even just beyond that, what about you? Do you know what your love language is? Do you know what it takes to keep you going? You know, are you able to express what you need?
Right.
In all of that, you know, because if you're in whatever the ship is, friendship, relationship, whatever it is, and you're kind of just operating or whatever, and you never really speak up for yourself, that's not a good thing.
No.
That's not a good thing. So I
agree.
remember growing up, my mom used to say, self-preservation is the first law of nature. That's what my mom used to say all the time. And I was like, huh? But honestly, you really do have to take care of yourself.
Yourself. It's the way of the land. It's the law of the land.
You run out of being able to help, you know, other people.
But you know what though? That's there's two things to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the law of self-preservation is, you know, an important law, and we have to understand that. But there's also something that when it comes into having a protective nature, a protective nature throws out the law of self-preservation, because it's about now arising and protecting those that are in your under your base of your covering. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at that point in time, self-preservation, it only, how can I say this? When you're in relationships where you're like, I'm really like I'm yours, you're mine, I really love you, I really care, I'm gonna protect you, then there'll be certain situations where it's hard for you to be selfless. It's hard for you to think of self-preservation, because the overriding thought is protection. It's providing. Am I making sense?
You are, but it goes against, again, what we are essentially trying to do. Think about getting on a plane, and they'll tell you this, you know, make sure you put your mask on first. But most people, like if they had their child or their significant other next to them, they're going to try to put that mask on. But if I can't breathe, and
I can't protect.
I can't help you who might not be able to do right. So
I hear you, but
mentally we say, nah, I got to get me together. Because if I'm not together,
I agree with you, Marvin, that in that moment, you are thinking about that person or that other
another
person. Sure.
person.
Yeah.
right. I mean, think of it this way, right? So you have a household that's dependent upon a father working, or even a mother working.
Mm-hmm.
That mother or that father, because there's a need, they forget about what self.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people work from 3 to 7, and then from 7 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they could get another shift,
Yeah, I get it.
you see what I'm saying? Why? Because they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to provide for those who are that are under their covering, trying to provide for those that they love. It's one thing if they're trying to buy some shoes and they want to, act like they got more, but it's different when I have to sacrifice because there's a level of care that I have to provide for those that I love.
Yeah.
And so when we start talking about self-care, it's like, and I said it earlier, it's about trying to find that balance
Yeah.
of how do I provide self-care for myself and still do what instinctively and what's in here that I need to be able to do for those that are around me.
Sure. JT,
Hey,
Money.
what's that?
JT Money.
what's up, y'all? All right?
Listen, JT,
Huh?
who do you love?
Man, I really, I really didn't want to do this tonight. I love my mama.
Mama,
That's a good start.
Listen, you can never go wrong with that response.
well, a mom is a son's first love.
So first love. Yeah.
It's it's quite unfortunate. I don't have a significant other. Cupid had his foot in my ass the last few years, so it's been kind of bad right now. I'm sorry, y'all. I know, Dr. Scott.
No, we're not even talking about that. So,
Oh, my
but the
bad.
point that we were making was when we make that list, we never really put ourselves on it or even at the top. Like we don't even start with us. We start with all of these, other people. And
Right.
sometimes, JT, we have to start with us. So maybe the significant other comes when we get ourselves together and are able to love in the proper way.
Yeah.
Because we have taken the time to work on self, or because we have taken the time to learn how to love ourselves.
Yes.
Because sometimes we don't like what we see in the mirror. I mean, and even deeper in the mirror, not just this outside, but when we
Right.
really look deep at the man in the mirror. And so how can you take that and say you're going to love a significant other when you don't really have it for yourself? So that then when that person does things, it triggers you and you do things opposite of love.
Mm-hmm.
But
that
a lot of times it has nothing to do with the other person. It's because you ain't found it in you.
Yeah. You know what that sounds like, Lisa?
What?
An internal investigation.
Investigation, man.
That would sound like an internal investigation, a journey into your soul.
Does. Yeah. You got to take that look in. You got to take that look in.
I see how you did that, Doc.
Available on Amazon.
I love it.
Available on Amazon. I love it.
Let me see. Yeah. So it is. I mean, and I know that we. I don't know whether we've been trained, programmed, or whatever to not be
selfish.
Right. Like it's really I know it's we look at it as a cuss word almost. Because when people call us that, it's like, really? you know.
Well, because
But I believe there are pivotal moments that you do kind of need to be. Like there are moments when you really need to pull away and work on you. And that's not to slight anybody else. That's not to say I don't love anybody else. That's not to say that I'm not a giver anymore. But sometimes you get so depleted that you really do. Or you have things that transpire in your life. Like with my mom's passing, I never dealt with grief in that way. I didn't know what grief really was in that way. I've been sad over family members passing, friends passing, or whatever, but I had no idea what grief does to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm still processing it.
mm-hmm.
And I'm learning that I would have to take some time to really go in the room and shut up, you know? And I am very extroverted. I love people. I love being around people. I like, playing games. If I could spend my life out in the street, I probably would. But I'm also learning,
Scott said, "You're not for the streets."
but not in that way. You don't know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. But I'm also learning that I also need to pull in and be quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
And just sit with my thoughts and with myself and just different things like that. And I never really leading up to God got a way. Well, y'all know I'm Christian. I don't apologize for that. But God has a way. Like leading up to my mom's passing, and I had no idea God was working on me in this way. I would have some real introverted moments. Like I remember one time being at a Christmas function for work, and I'm in this room full of people, and I'm like, God, I wish I could go home and just like, which was odd to me because I like people, I love talking, so it was odd. So even in that, just kind of learning how. So now I believe I'm introverted and extroverted. I could be either one, and just learning that.
Yeah. But you know what though? I don't think just because you take time to yourself, people who really know you would never call you selfish.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Honestly, if someone is calling you selfish, that's because one, either they don't know you, or two, it's because they don't care about how you feel. All they want is what they want.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we don't put them on the table. But people who really know you, they'll know you're not selfish. They understand that you need what? You need moments, right?
Your time. Right.
The only other side to that is if you spoil them. People get spoiled real quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get spoiled real quick, then they expect you to snap back and give them what they want. Because spoiled people are selfish.
Yeah.
Hold on. Not all the time. Because I'm very spoiled. My mama will tell you.
But listen,
you say for all her children.
Listen, you say not all the time. That means there are times when you're what? Selfish.
Selfish. Yeah.
Because spoiled people, they are used to getting what they want when they want.
Sure.
And if they don't, they have a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a type of spoil, Lisa. It's a different type of spoil.
Yeah.
That
oh yeah, no. I'm just messing around. I know. She did spoil us though. God knows. She did. But we weren't rotten,
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I know one lady say she do sports, but she don't do rotten.
Right. Wasn't no temper tantrums. No, you ain't treat that.
Oh, God.
You did not treat that. So here's another question, guys. So what's the line between loving yourself and arrogance or narcissism? Is it? I know there's a line.
Oh yeah, there's a line.
Definitely a line.
I mean, for me, again, my thing is this. There's one thing to take moments for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's another thing for everything to be about you.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two different things. And so a person that takes time to, okay, you know what, I need a day of rest. I need a weekend of rest. That's different than a person saying every week is about them and every day is about them. You know what I mean? And it's always about what I did and me.
Yeah.
You hit it on the head. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So we definitely got to put that time out for us, but in doing so, we can't give all the time to us, right?
Sure.
So once you have replenished, now it's time for you to go back and give back. So we can't just keep taking on the water. Essentially, you're overflowing and you're not giving it back. You want to be able to give it back and then come back. To me, it's really a cycle, right? I give, I receive, I give, I receive. And I have to know when I'm full and I have to know when I'm empty.
Very good.
The difference. And when we don't know that and we still giving out and you empty, there's nothing to give. But if we overflow, and then I think that's where the narcissism comes in. You just keep wanting more and more and more, and nothing is ever enough. And you know, we know people like that. 45. I just had to put it out.
I've been one of those type of people, man. Like I give and give and give and give and give. And then so there are a lot of times where I'm like, man, you know, I'm not receiving anything. So you know what? I'm about to say, screw everybody and make it about me. But the way I was raised, my grandma said, you have one of those sayings come in here like, hey, it can't always be about you. Even after you've given so much, you know, and it's like going to a well, if you will, going to a well and you've given all the water out and you still trying to scrape the bottom, trying to get more to give out to somebody else. And guess what? You haven't drinking any water.
Yeah. So I think that goes back to what Lisa said, though, being able to find that line of, okay, you know what? I need to take some time for me, you know, and that even means sometimes if you got to have that tough conversation. Like, hey, I need some time to myself. I need some time alone so that I can do X, Y, and Z. But that's why, you know, I said earlier, you know, when you said finding out, it's going to be difficult for a person to find out because they're going to give, but they're going to give in the way they know how to give. And then when they receive, they want to think about receiving in the way they know how to receive. And if you don't communicate with them, you know what I mean? The communication is so important in any type of ship that you're in. It's just so important.
It is.
You know, I mean, you think about this, and we talk about intercourse, right? And everybody always thinks about sex, right? But sexual intercourse, that's not even. Intercourse actually means, when you look at the definition of it, it's defined as communication. You know, and so true relationship has to start with a level of intercourse where we are communicating back and forth, where you get to understand and know know me, know what I like, what I dislike, and now be able to speak to me and minister to me in those areas and in those places, you know, and that's how we become more intimate, because now you're able to see deeper into me. And I think what happens is we allow people in intimate places and they have not spent the time in communication to be able to be in an intimate place. You know what I mean? We put them in an intimate place and they don't even know how they got there. They don't even know how to communicate to me intimately.
Right. I think another interesting thing we're talking about too is how we are givers, we are givers, we are givers. But in that, are we taking the time to really know and see, are we supposed to give at that moment? Like, just because somebody asked for it, need it, are you the one that's supposed to provide it?
Are you
Sometimes
becoming?
I think we may do too much, and then we feel depleted or unappreciated or whatever. Maybe it wasn't your place
What's
to be
your
the giver
assignment?
in that moment.
Yeah. You becoming somebody's God. You trying to always be the answer when
Right.
at times
It
you're
might
not.
not be that person may need to feel that lack in another way so that they can find it for themselves.
Yeah.
Hey, Vet.
Reflective listening.
You know, when you said that, it really made me think of another aspect of it, which is receiving. Do we know how to receive it too? Does that make sense? So it's like, okay, I'm giving. But then when somebody says, here, are we in the mindset of, okay, thank you, I appreciate it, I'm grateful for what you give me? And for me, it's always been I'm being intimate right here, Doc.
Listen, go ahead. You speaking good, man.
It's been a challenge for me to understand and to accept that. Even in the smallest of tokens, I had to learn over time. You know what? Thank you. Because I was always here. But sometimes you have to open up your hand too to say, you know what? I received that. Thank you. No matter how small it may be or how large it may be. And sometimes we don't want you giving me all of this. Yes, I'm giving you all of this love. You need to accept it. But the person doesn't even know how to accept it, whether it's big or small. So in both aspects.
And that's the tangible and the intangible.
Intangible, correct.
Yeah. Correct. Most givers don't know how to receive. They're so used to giving that when someone tries to give them something, it's hard. You know,
it's foreign.
Receiving for a giver is a learned trait. Givers have to learn how to receive.
Yeah.
And givers have to understand that givers draw takers. You know, you draw people that are in need, but then you also draw people who may not need, but they'll take it if you give.
Yeah, take it anyway. Correct.
And so you got to understand that. And so if you are a giver, if that's your gifting, if that's your personality gift, then it becomes difficult because you can't allow someone to change you who you are. You know, so you can't give and then someone take it and does X, Y, and Z and make you feel bad. And then you say, man, forget that. I ain't giving no more. Because now that person just changed who you are. You know what I mean? You're not you anymore. And literally when you're not you and you're not doing that, slowly on the inside, you're dying.
You're dying.
Yeah.
So pretty much you are saying that some people they come with a need, and then you got some people that come with greed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I got you.
And that's when you really have to discern, is that, you know, am I the one that's supposed to take care of that right now? Because sometimes you may not be that person.
Yeah. And so being able to say no at that time is not being selfish.
Right.
But you know what, man? What if some people have hit you with so many guilt trips?
Man.
No is no. No is no.
Because I know a lot of times, man, I will do whatever I can for people. I will stretch myself thin for people, man. But you know,
and people know that.
That one time.
So JT, so I learned this when I was a young lad. I was a young lad. So like I used to give, right? But then I knew how to save money, right? So, but when someone would ask me for money and I didn't want to give it to them, I would lie and say I don't have it. Right? I would lie and say I don't have it because I didn't want to feel bad about not giving it to them, and I didn't want them asking me anymore. undoubtedly, every time I would lie and say I don't have it, somebody would steal my money.
Mm.
Every time.
Wow.
So I learned not to say I don't have it. I got it.
I'm just not giving it to you.
He just say for me to give. Uh-oh. Yo.
It's not coming to you. It's not you not getting this gift today.
And then he had to disappear.
You know why? I have a feeling Miss Scott probably said, "Didn't you just tell me you didn't have no money?"
Marvin in trouble.
Didn't you tell me last week you ain't got no money?
Hey, man, y'all made the man disappear.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is but honestly, I think that the more we self-explore, the more we self-examine. Oh, you back. The more we
Battery was
self-examine,
going dead. I had to plug the laptop in.
Going right back to our conversations. You got to stay
the more we you got to plug in.
plug in.
You got to plug in. We got to find this love for ourselves in such a way that we don't
lose
doubt.
energy.
Or JT, well, you can't guilt trip me.
Listen.
Because I know who I am. I know what I do. I know what I'm capable of. And if it's not leading me to give to you right now, you can have all the sob story you want.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I needed to plug my battery in. Y'all calling my name didn't change the fact that guess what?
They got to get plugged.
I got to get plugged. Hey, y'all were talking about me, talking about no, now he gonna turn this camera. Guess what? It don't make no difference. Guess what? I still gotta plug in.
You still gotta plug in.
Once I get plugged in, we'll talk.
But you know,
unless you do like me, you plug in before you get started.
Well, listen, whatever, okay?
So you know, you both bring two good points. We gotta know we're just like batteries. We got to get recharged.
Got to get recharged.
But unlike our devices that have a marker or a sign or a signal to tell you that you low on battery, we have to know that for ourselves.
Oh, but friends,
you will feel it
if you pay attention.
If you pay attention,
you know.
Correct.
We ignore
the
signs.
Yeah.
We ignore the fact that we need a nap because we got to keep. I still got to do this. I still got to do that. We ignore the fact that we grumpy or what's the other thing when you're hungry and mad? You know,
angry.
We ignore those things and we keep going.
Yeah.
And we keep going and we keep going. We ignore the cold.
Correct.
The common cold that says you might need to rest a minute.
Yeah.
We ignore that and we keep going until it's pneumonia.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I've been there.
Oh yeah.
In the hospital for 7 days with pneumonia because I ignored the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the ways, Bob, like when I start getting tired, one of the ways I know, okay, that I need to rest, because I start getting a sinus problems and I get a cold. But now if I cut it off, like right at the point where my throat starts getting scratched, if I go ahead and get some rest, I can cut it off and I'm good. But if I keep going, and once I start getting the sinus problems and getting the cold, now it's there. Now I got to deal with all of that. When all I had to do to cut it off was just lay down and get some rest.
Yeah.
But again,
do you know before the scratchy throat?
Yeah. You could tell it, but you keep pushing, you keep pushing, and then all of a sudden I hit, and it's like, okay, now my body's telling me, all right, keep going if you want to.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I swear to people always say you always bringing up these sayings that your grandparents got, but I know my grandma used to always, when I keep pushing, she'll say, "You better sit your behind down for God sit you down now."
And my granddaddy used to say, "A hard head
make a
soft behind."
Soft behind.
Yeah. So oftentimes we do know, we just ignore the signs.
We
Yeah.
ignore the signs. We
Yeah,
ignore the low battery until your phone shut completely off.
Which
Yeah.
is what was about to happen to Dr. Scott in his laptop. But
I
Lisa
didn't
brought
ignore
a
the
great
sign.
point. Sometimes we need to charge it before it fully dies. Well, I
Yeah.
know I don't gotta wait for the cold. Let me take a little break. You know, let me exercise. Let me do the things that I need to do to ensure that I keep my battery level. I got to pour back into me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm not working, I can't. I mean, if the laptop not working, we can't participate. That
Yeah, that's true. You know, so Lisa, I think there's a great point. It's like when we start talking about self-care, I think the thing is that people come at self-care from so many different angles. And some people may say what we're talking about is not self-care. Some people may look at self-care as, oh, got to get my nails done, got to get my hair done. You follow what I'm saying? I need a day where I go to the spa and I get massages and all those things. Oh, I go shopping and all those different things. And that might work for some people, but for me, I'm not one that need to buy a lot of stuff for me.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, my self-care is having a day where I'm at the house by myself. You know, and so and the thing is, I communicate that, so no one has to say, "Well, I didn't know." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I communicate. Look, I just need a day. You know, if I can listen, give me a day where I can put Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3 in.
what you know about that? You need to watch the Ring of Power. You need to watch the Ring of Power.
Oh, I did. You know, and listen, and I watch, just sit there and not listen, not have to do anything. You know, hey, you come back, give me a day or two like that. You come back, I'm smiling, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying?
But then you brought a good point. You got to know what works for you, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I went out of the country and I saw a different outlet, right? And I try to plug into this outlet and say it's not going to work. You have to have a converter to make sure you can put it into that outlet. And I think it's the same. We got to know which outlets work for us.
Yes.
In terms of what things will give me that power, that rejuvenating power to get back. That's why the church is still and was very important to folks, right?
Yeah.
Because that was their way. No matter how
Sometimes
crazy
it is,
the
yeah.
week was,
Yeah.
grandmama got to go and get her church, her love, her praise on, because that was her rejuvenation.
But Yvette says something also reflective, being reflective.
Correct.
Some people don't know because they don't reflect.
Right.
They don't take time to think about, you know, what pushed them, what drives them, what made them happy, what made them sad. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people can't tell you what they like. They can only tell you what they don't like.
I'd agree.
So my trying to please you is now just a whole bunch of trial and error because you don't know what you like.
However, if you're willing to explore it, then that might be the start. You know what I mean?
But see,
No, I'm just not.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Lisa. I get what you're saying.
Not necessarily you yourself, but that person.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
that is the start of it. I know what I don't like. You know,
right.
I know I don't like this. So then I can explore. And is there somebody that I can say, I'm trying to find it? Are they willing to help?
But you said the key point in there is that they need to identify not just I don't know, but I'm willing to find what it is I do know, what it is that I do like.
Right. And
people
are you
were saying
willing
that
to
I
help
don't
me?
know. Correct.
Are you willing to help me explore it?
Right now, but let me say this, right? It's like going out, right? I'll say, okay, where you want to go? And you say, well, I don't know. And then I say, well, hey, let's go here. You say, well, I don't want that. I said, what about here? Well, I don't want that.
I don't want that either.
So then at this point, everything I offer is basically trial and error
Right.
because you don't know what you want, but you're shooting down every option.
Everything, right.
But you know what you don't want. So are you
But,
willing
you know,
to
let me-
explore it?
This is the
Let me
thing,
give
is-
you a
this is
tool
the
that I
thing.
learned. I'm gonna give you a
Don't
tool
be
that I learned.
impatient.
No, it's
This-
not. It's not. And you wrong with
I
that too,
know, I
Lisa.
know. I just mess around.
I'm
But
gonna give you a
honestly,
tool.
Marvin,
That,
sometimes you know what you don't want. You just
so,
don't.
so here's a tool that I learned, and I said, "Oh, this is a good tool." Would you prefer us going to Chick-fil-A or Popeyes?
Neither one. I don't want neither one of them.
But
No, now
I
I'm
don't
giving
want
you.
chicken.
But see, again,
now
but see-
I'm giving you a choice to choose between the two versus saying, okay, where you want to go. So now
Yeah.
I'm offering you
right.
the two
So,
options.
so what you're doing is you're doing the man thing of I am giving you options within where I'm going to take you.
So I would say, are you opposed to? Are
But-
you
but-
opposed
no,
to
hold on.
going to Chick-fil-A or Popeyes?
Which is and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is this: we're saying, okay, trying to identify what they like. You're not saying by doing that, you're not finding out what they like. You're finding out what they will accept.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what you want, what you'll accept right now. I want to know what you like, because if I know what you like, then my goal would be to try to get you something that you like when you're feeling down. I'm gonna get you something that you like. When you
agree.
had a good day, I'm gonna get you something that you like.
I agree, but here it goes back to the premise that you've made, a point that you made. Sometimes you don't know what you like. The people don't know.
And that's what I'm saying. That goes back to what Lisa was saying.
Options to say, hey, let's try this or that. And then from those, you're like, you know what? I really like that. So now the next time I could say, you know what? You're having a bad day. Let me go get this because I know because of our exploration, you like
But
that.
I was just about to say that goes back to what Lisa was saying about exploring. But the
Right.
first person that needs to be able to be willing to explore what they like is the individual themselves.
It's the individual. Yeah.
You can't see again. You can't be dependent upon someone else bringing your self-care. You can't be dependent
I
upon
agree.
somebody
100%.
else bringing your happiness.
Right.
You have to be able to know what makes you happy. And again, that exploration comes from you first. Now, again, I can open you up to some other things, but it goes back to this. Now, are you liking that because you like it, or are you liking that because I
like. I
because
introduced
I
you
like
to
it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I'll look at this. You know, like some people, they start watching sports like football or basketball initially because their spouse or their significant other is watching it, right? And then they learn to like it for themselves. You know, I
Because your
remember-
daddy made you.
Yeah, I remember growing up, I was a Dallas Cowboy fan and a Laker fan because my brother Lee, he was 4 years older than me. When the Cowboys would lose, he would beat me up. So, of course, for survival's sake, I pulled for who?
The Cowboys.
I pulled for the
Cowboys.
Cowboys. So I was a Cowboys fan and a Lakers fan. But then as I got older, I realized, you know what? I'm still a Lakers fan.
I was about to say, don't leave the show now.
But
I
I was, but I was a Lakers fan, but I love the New York Knicks as well. And really and truly, I realized then I wasn't a New York Knicks fan. I was a Patrick Ewing fan. I love Patrick Ewing, right?
Yeah.
But football wise, I stopped. I mean, the Cowboys. I mean, I have fond memories of them because growing up, I was a fan, and so. But as you got older, I realized, what? I wasn't a fan initially because I liked the Cowboys. I was a fan because I didn't want to take no L's.
Right.
So hey, it wasn't the Cowboys loss or it wasn't they lost, it was we lost.
Right. Well, you got one good team on the boat. So you good in my book. Every day.
Oh my goodness. This was a good one, y'all. This is a good one. JT, you all right?
He thinking. I need some self-care, y'all.
I'm all right. I'm good. Y'all
I
really
get
hit
driving these trucks.
that I've been dealing with internally. So yeah.
So kitchen talk is a good therapy session too.
Sometimes you got to talk it out.
Yeah.
You got to talk it out.
You do.
Hey, listen, kitchen talk allowed me to throw a shameless plug out there.
Right.
Y'all
And I
go.
was trying to see if we had I took the graphic off. I was gonna pull up the graphic of the book, but I took it out of here already.
And listen, it's on
You gotta
Amazon.
bring it back.
It's on
You gotta bring
Amazon.
it back.
Internal Investigation: A Journey into Your Soul. It's a great read.
It is a great read.
Most
It
definitely.
is definitely a great read. Listen, we got to do that again. We need the book club again.
Yeah.
So y'all be thinking about another book. Thinking about another book.
Y'all read the Richest Man in Babylon?
Yes.
Good book.
I haven't.
Listen.
Good book.
Listen. That is if you want to change the way you think about investing and think about money, that is a great book to read. If you don't want to read it, it's on YouTube. Just listen to it. Let them talk about Arcad.
Yeah.
But I tell you, it is really a great it's a great book. It really is. Yeah. Anybody who wants to
what we were talking about today, Doc, right? Because again, sometimes we're looking for the thing you're looking for everywhere else, but it's right here in you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking for love and want to give love, and who do you love? But you got to start here first. And most times we start everywhere else at everybody else's house instead of our own house.
Yeah.
So,
how could you love somebody else when you don't even love yourself? Yeah.
Definitely a good read. There's a couple of other books I think we could add to our book club that will spark some really good conversation.
All right. Well, y'all give me the list of what y'all think, and we'll see what we can do. We need to do that again. I love that. That was good, especially one where we could talk to the author.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, I'm working on another book.
Real, wasn't he?
I'm working on another one, so y'all keep me in prayer. And
same here, Doc. It's been a journey, but I got 3 more that need to get out fast.
Yeah. I don't know right now the title of it, because sometimes when I'm writing, I start writing, I'll have a title and the title changes. But right now the title is The Sum Total. Yeah. So you are the sum total,
Mm-hmm.
You do the math.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love it.
You already got me because
So listen. Who do you love? Can we try the question again? Who do you love? Who do you love?
Me,
Who do you love?
the common denominator.
Me.
The common denominator.
Right.
Oh my goodness. This has been Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversation day.
Yeah, good.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Listen, if you are watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notifications. Y'all funny. Make sure you turn on your notifications so that you will never miss another show. If you're watching us on Facebook, hit the like button. Turn on the notifications there too. Y'all are trying to talk. Oh my goodness.
We know. That's why we
thank you, Yvette. Thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us. Yes, absolutely. We got to learn to love ourselves, take care of ourselves, be our best self. And that, that makes us have an even larger I'm not gonna say a larger impact. I'm gonna say a more positive impact.
Yeah, and
We have an impact regardless.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, your attitude is contagious, but is it worth catching?
Oh, boy,
That's all
tonight
right. I
I
like
was
that.
dropping nuggets tonight, boy. Nuggets.
Mic drop, mic drop.
And that's the end of the show. I'm just saying. We always, you know, we talk about these attitudes. We all have attitudes. It's just a matter of, is yours worth catching? Because somebody gonna catch it.
Mhm.
All right. I love you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out. Marvin Scott, Francie Moist, JT Plummer in the house.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
see you guys next week.
Man, if that's how you are when you get sick.
Hey, now that was by mistake. That was by mistake.
We usually lose JT. Now we losing you.
If that's how you are when you get sick. Next time, Donatella, you contagious.
No, I ain't saying that.
Yep. All that positive.
Right, right.
Not
All right.
negative.
Good night, y'all.
Peace out.
Let's talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk.